Oh, move these. Hi, and welcome back to Deep Down Under. Now, we're doing something a little bit different today. We're going down a cave called P8 with some friends. And if you noticed, we've got Caver Keith with us. Now, if you haven't checked out Caver Keith's channel, you need to do so now, because he goes underground like me. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at how cavers cave. What do they do? There must be so many questions that run through your mind, and there's an interview with Caver Keith, so if you haven't checked that out, do that now, which answers some of your questions. But for now, we're just going to be following these guys around, trying to get their knowledge of caves and see where it goes. So join me, Elise Freshwater-Blizzard, and Jolene as we venture deep down under. How are you feeling, Caver Keith, about going in?
How am I feeling about going in?
Yeah.
This was one of my first ever caving trips.
No way!
I haven't been here for decades.
Oh my god!
Like nostalgia.
Do you want to get in then? How long have you been caving for?
Just over 30 years.
30 years. That's really interesting because we've got 30 years of experience versus 3 years of experience, and that's part of the reason that I actually had you on the show, because I think it's really almost imperative for a young caver to get to know more experienced cavers.
So as you can tell, this is going to be a little bit more of a relaxed episode. It's going to be a little bit more informative, and we're just going to take you around a cave really. As you can see, it's a very, very wet cave.
You alright?
Yeah, fine.
This is the original bit of the cave here, and the stream's cut a slot down in the floor. But it's not really that clear to see the cave development here. It might be better at a
It's probably less than 1% of the population who are active cavers.
I think much less than 1% who are active cavers, yes.
Yeah.
I've no real idea how many cavers there are in the country, but it's a few thousand, no more than that.
Yeah. Keith, hello. Can you explain what an oxbow is, please?
Well, I should do my best.
Because Jolene's at one end and you're at the other end.
Right, well, we've just climbed up from the main streamway, and this curved passage that we're in here is an oxbow. And an oxbow means that the stream used to flow around this way, and then it's found a shorter path and it's cut further down behind us. So the stream now is flowing at a lower level, and this, which used to be the active streamway, is left high and dry.
Beautiful. That was so well explained. Thank you.
In many caves, you can't go any further into them simply by walking on foot. They need to be what cavers call rigged. This is where the caver will bring rope into the cave and tie it to the bolts that are screwed into the walls. We then use the rope to get to what would otherwise be inaccessible. As we lower ourselves down, we need to make sure we clip in onto these bolts to ensure our safety as we sort the belay device. Now, all of this has to be done whilst water is running past you perhaps, and the rope will be slippy, and for me, I actually find this practice very hard, and I would say that I'm quite a slow caver when it comes to this work, which is called SRT. You're seeing me struggling because the ropes have twisted themselves in the wrong directions in my own SRT kit, and I'm just struggling to bits as always.
My story starts actually here in Castleton, in Peak Cavern, because in the 1970s, the show cave here, Peak Cavern, was a much, much bigger show cave than it is now. And it went all the way down to Buxton Water Sump. And as a tourist, I arrived here in the early 70s and did the tourist trip to Buxton Water Sump. And the guide said, well, that's it now, it's time to go back out. But cavers have discovered miles more cave passage than you've seen already. And I suppose it was an insatiable curiosity, because I'm standing there thinking, I don't want to stop here. I want to go on, and I want to go and see what other people have seen and what they've discovered. And then you just want to do a little bit more. So you want to learn how to climb ladders, and then you want to learn how to abseil, and you want to dive a sump, and you just want to keep pushing that little bit further each time. And testing yourself. I think it's a lot about testing oneself, and it's a set of challenges. So it's adventure, it's excitement, it's challenging, and it makes you forget. Because if you've got a stressful job and you get to Friday afternoon and you think, I've just had enough, when you go caving, you don't think about anything else.
As you can see here, Keith is excellently lowering himself down only to reclip himself into the next bolt as to assure his own safety. As we press on through the cave, our viewers might be interested. What exactly is at the end of a cave? What's at the very bottom? Now, there's something called a sump where all the water runs down into, and that's what I'm going to question Caver Keith about.
Right, so Keith, do you want to tell us about this sump at the end of P8, and have you been past it?
Yes, we're in P8 in Derbyshire, a small swallow cave which takes an active streamway, and here is the stream. And what happens just round the corner here is the passage decreases in height, and we get a section of passage which is totally flooded from floor to ceiling. And this particular sump is quite small. The passage is probably less than a metre in diameter, and it's half filled with silt. But in very, very, very dry conditions, it does dry up, and it's possible for non-divers to go through. It's about 130 foot long, and there's lots more lovely cave on the other side.
That spanner.
It is.
It's a very bubbly Oh.
It's flooded.
Yeah.
It's fine, one of this
I was
is-
going to say that means it's flooding because the
I think it's
sea here as well.
ash.
Can you explain for us the foam on the walls that you can see? Why is there foam on the walls?
Well, it's a nice dry weekend now, but over the last few days we've had some very, very heavy rain. It's lasted for 24 hours or more. So because the sump is very constricted, the volume of water that comes down the streamway is too much to go through the sump. So it backs up and this level rises, and it's within the last few days it's been up to at least this height. And that's the foam that you can see clinging to the wall that the flood has left behind. So of course the difference is that if you fall off your horse, you pick up your mobile phone, or somebody picks up the mobile phone, and within minutes the ambulance arrives and off you go and get medical attention. Of course, if you have an accident in a cave, then you could be many, many, many hours away from help. Yeah. And that is the difference. So it's not a dangerous sport, but if things do go wrong, The biggest rescue I was ever on was in 2005 in Ogoffernundee in South Wales. And the caver who got injured with a suspected spinal injury from a fall was less than an hour into the caving trip.
Okay.
So the cave rescue team is actually on the doorstep. It's actually at the caving hut.
Oh, wow.
So help was called in less than an hour. Do you know how long it took to get the casualty out of the cave?
You know, from the things I've read, I wouldn't be surprised if it took 8 hours or something or other, like something really...
25 hours.
25 hours?
The problem was that the caver had gone in through an entrance that was going to be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to bring a stretcher out through, and obviously this was a stretcher case. So the underground controller decided that she'd got to be taken deeper into the cave system and brought right up the main streamway and then out of another entrance higher up the hill.
Yeah.
And that's why it took that time.
Oh my God.
And unfortunately, I was wearing a wetsuit. I don't often wear a wetsuit when I go caving, but I had a wetsuit with me.
Yeah.
So my job for several hours was to lie in the streamway, and there were 4 or 5 of us lying in the streamway, and the stretcher was passed above us, and then we got about the streamway and went ahead of the stretcher, lay back down in the streamway, and the stretcher got passed over. Yeah. And that's why it took such a long time, because you couldn't obviously allow the casualty to be in the water.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, just to let our audience know that if the person did get into the water, it's incredibly detrimental, because water is cold, and if you're just lying in cold water, it will just allow your body to get hypothermia, which is of course the last thing that you would want whilst you've had a spinal injury. So they recovered, yes?
Oh yeah, fully recovered.
Please tell me there's like
fully recovered. Still goes caving.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Yeah. But that is like our viewers would probably be really confused as to what the mist is. And the mist is literally just the condensation in the air. Right there.
The humidity in here has got to be, what, 80-90%, something like that?
Yeah.
And that's why, Jolene, do you say you wear contact lenses? Because wearing contact lenses in caves is incredibly comfortable because of the humidity.
It must be really good for your skin as well.
So what actually happens when cavers are not on the move? Well, we sit back, we relax, and we talk to each other. Sometimes we'll turn off the lights and be with our own thoughts, which is very scary, but in general, we have a good time. We're very lucky to be in a place where most people don't get to go, untouched by humanity and its destructiveness. We are truly left with ourselves and each other. Sometimes we might bump into other groups in the cave, and it's treated like a special event because it's a rare thing to happen. So we chat for a bit before heading our separate ways. But for me, caving really is about friends coming together to have fun and explore the unknown.
Right, so excuse me if I've got chocolate in between my teeth, because Jolene and I are now nibbling on chocolate. It's our favourite thing to do in a cave. We've just come out and we've had a really good trip. It was a really exciting trip. I do like SRT. I like using my harness. I think it's really fun. And even though I'm not very good at it, I still think it's such a fun thing to do. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. So if you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, you know the drill. And I'll see you next time. Join me, Elise Freshwater-Blizzard, and Jolene as we go deep down under.
You doing good?
entertaining watching him experience a puzzle. Just going to seem to go backwards into
Yeah, I was with you.
a small pool of water on the floor. What, the jack?
Yeah.
Okay.